Good morning, YouTube. My name is Amy's Bro, and hello again, Otomi Armada. It is Independence Day here in the United States, July the 4th, 2017. How in God's name are you all doing? Tonight, we have to talk about an article that was posted recently. And I'm going to give a shout out to a dear friend of mine named Leafy Dream. She is a proud card carrying member of the Otomi Armada, and apparently she and a couple other dear friends got a little annoyed about some things that were said in the article. Now, I read the article, or more like I gleamed it until I got to the game listing, because we already know, we've discussed it. And I have to ask the question. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's read up to the game listing, and then we'll really get it as we, talk about the article. So, let's roll. The article is called, or is titled, Scores of Japanese Games Announced for PS4 VITA at Anime Expo 2017. Now, we must make this clear. The name of the blog, or website, or whatever you want to call it, is called Pushsquare.com. So, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, it's a pro PlayStation website, or it's a website that covers at least PlayStation news. It's at least the latter. But, well, let's talk about the article. So here's the deal. So here's how the article starts. Ready? Because this is a winner. Good news, weeaboos! Okay, where do you begin with that? Let's explain something real quick. When you play, or when you are running a blog, which is not necessarily run by Sony, but is covering the Sony systems. Sony, a company which one of its presidents is Japanese. Let's be clear. The term weeaboo, or even the term otaku in the country of Japan, isn't looked fondly. So why would you use a term which is derogatory towards fans of, Japanese media? Let's be just clear for about 2 seconds. It's like, did you think? Did anybody think? Let's keep going now. Visual novels are alive and well on the PlayStation Vita, and the PlayStation 4 continues to be the unofficial home of Japanese games on consoles. People in their mid to late 20s donned their pink wigs and Dragon Ball Z tees and headed to Anime Expo 2017. Jesus Christ, can we be any more stereotypical? First off, whoever wrote this clearly does not know that there are people that are in their 30s and 40s that still watch anime to this day. They became fans maybe when they were in their late teens, early 20s, but they, how do you explain this? But they kept on the love and the passion for a genre, which for some of them may be the genre they watch, they read, they play the games for, whatever. To even be that stereotypical, you've got to be some kind of nut, or you've got to be some kind of jackass who doesn't understand that you're covering a system for a fan base which may have started in their teens. In my case, it was around my I know it was in high school. I forget what year, but I got my original PlayStation, and I've been a PlayStation fan pretty much ever since. I had one minor diversion when I got my 360 first, but outside of that, I've pretty much been a PlayStation supporter. So yeah. Oh, P.S. I'm 36 years old. So anyway, let's keep going. Oh, and this. Don, there are pink wigs and Dragon Ball Z tees. Because, you know, Dragon Ball Z is the only anime that exists, guys. There's not Tokyo Ghoul. There's not Danganronpa. There's not there's not however you want to call that one. There's not Kuroko's Basketball. There's not Yuri on Ice. There's not Attack on Titan. No, it's Dragon Ball Z. The only one they know, apparently. The person who wrote this article. Isn't that lovely? Keep going. And head to Anime Expo 2017. Well, no crap. What do you think they're going to do? Where they learned about all the Otome releases heading overseas. But then it gets even better. Because before they even get to the list, here's the zinger they lay on you. Ready? There's so much crap here that we're going to cover in bullet point form. That can be taken two ways. So that's kind of a double entendre statement. You could say there's so much crap here, as in there's so many good games here, we're only going to cover them all because if we tried to, in bulletproof form, because if we tried to do it all in depth, we'd be here for 2 hours. You could use it that way. But the way, just from the tone of the article, the way it seems like it was being said was there's so much shit here that we're going to cover it in bulletproof form, bullet point form, so we don't have to devote any more time to it, despite the fact that in Japan, the Otome dominates the system, despite the fact that in this country, the Otome market is starting to see a very blossoming industry, especially, you know, with a game like Code Realize, which, by the way, I will tell you, at last I checked, and it's been a while, so I'll have to double check again, outsold the Japanese release. You could say, and this can be argued, that Code Realize, for some, may be the most important Otome game to ever come out. You also have to understand, and nobody actually knows, not many people know this, but the Otome and the visual novel is a subgenre of the adventure genre. So when you shit on the visual novel, what you're actually also doing is, in an indirect way, kind of crapping on the adventure genre. The only difference with the visual novel is there's more reading and maybe less interactivity, but other than that, it's a game. And it's a genre that is very well loved, at least in Japan, and statements like this from apparently an English-speaking journalist kind of makes you look like a jackass, son. Because, let me explain something here. Alright, look. If I was your editor and I was reading this article, by the way, I'm going to put the link in the description for people to read this bullshit, because there's no way they should be able to get off on this. Get away with this. But when you say, in the first 3 words of your article, good news, weeaboos, and then you later in the thing come up with a stereotype, because apparently you can't think of any other animes that exist outside of Dragon Ball Z, it shows you either have a very minute understanding of the way video games an anime even work, because it's the only one you know. I mean, couldn't you, just for the hell of it, come up with something different? People went and dressed up like Tetsuya Kuroko from Kuroko's Basketball, or Kiss Ryota. You could have got creative with it. No, let's go for the most stereotypical one possible. Well, no, another stereotypical one would have been Naruto. And this is even coming from somebody who for 20 years was a diehard Sailor Moon fan. Or you could say dressed up as, a Sailor Moon character. Insert one here. I went to a convention one year and a dude was dressed up as Sailor Pluto. The point is, though, do you not understand that, okay, yes, we know that Sony, for the most part, has given up on the Vita. Sony has. But all these other companies that are in existence, which if you actually would do some research, you know who they are, they see the potential of the Vita still. They are looking at this as, well, you know what? We've got, female gamers. We may also have some male gamers that like these types of games. I'm raising my hand now, and everybody knows it. But what you're doing is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard of. Maybe, and look, there's a 100% possibility I'm reading this article wrong. But, Jesus Christ. Like, why would you write the article in that manner? I can tell the snark apparently runs deep. I remember listening, or not listening, but watching a podcast, and someone said, flat out, the Vita needs to die. Why does the Vita need to die? Why does any console realistically need to die? Technology? The Vita, if people wanted to, the Vita could have games coming out till 2050 at this point, if they wanted to. And people would still buy them. Us Otome gamers, or Otome, I always forget, literally which way it's actually supposed to be pronounced. We will continue to buy these games for a long, long time. What's the reason? Because we like the stories, we like the characters, we like to, we like to see the progression. This is what happens. If you cannot grasp that, and you are writing a column for a website or for a blog which is covering Sony news, maybe you should take the snark out and actually try to cover it like a legitimate reporter or blogger. Every time I've done a blog entry about it, about an anime, or about news related to an anime, or about Otome news, I have never, ever in my life, ever been disrespectful to an audience, ever. Because I know one thing, the people that are going to watch this video or read those blog posts are the people who are the fans of the genre. And I know it is my best interest to not exactly, piss them off like y'all pissed me off with this article now. And like I said, the link will be in the description. I'm not hiding it. I want you people to read this, and I'm telling you right now, if for some reason you think I'm off base with anything I'm saying in this video, cool, let's have the discussion. But I'm telling you right now, I know people on Twitter who were so pissed off about what happened. And one of my friends on Twitter, she knows me well. Here's what she knows. I don't give a damn. I'll play any game. I'll play an Otome, I'll play a BL game, I'll play an action-adventure game, I'll play a platformer, I'll play whatever game interests me. 9 times out of 10, it's not a mainstream game. Some can argue that Persona's become a mainstream game. Some will say, well, we pretty much know Final Fantasy is, but some will say Persona's become one. Some will say, Code Realize is becoming one. Some will say Udapre has become one. It kind of has. Udapre, in its own way, has become something completely more than just an Otome game at this point. But you see, I educate myself on these games. And I will admit this, when I went into this game, I went in blind. Alright? I didn't know anything about it, save that 3 voice actors who I knew from Udapre were in this game. That was it. I played this version of the game. Eventually I'm going to play the PS Vita version in Japanese. But I played this version, and it turned out to be one of the greatest games I've ever played. And I mean that. One of the greatest games I've ever played. And I never disrespected it for any reason. That's why when I read that article, I saw red. How dare you? How dare you write the article that way to insult a fan base? How dare you? At least when we know, when Access Games does their article or does any announcements, they at least acknowledge us, the Otome Army or Armada, whichever way you want to look at it, because they know we'll support their releases in some way. Idea Factory, they know it also. I wish Rage would learn, because we want to support the games, especially here in the US, but you haven't given them to us yet. Broccoli, you're slowly learning, pals, with Shining Live coming up. But I'm going to end this video here because I can go 30 minutes on this topic, and I've already gone 17. My question to you: have I gone completely mad? Am I making much ado about nothing? Or was this article worded so poorly that you ripped your hair out reading it? Well, the link's going to be in the description. You tell me if I'm off base, and let's have a conversation about it. Because in my personal opinion, the article needs to be reworded or retracted immediately. That's just my opinion, though. Let me know what you think. Link will be down here. I'll talk to you later. Good day, friends.